Hey guys, this is Crawl. We are currently inside of my very first carrier ship. Yeah, I didn't have a carrier yet, so I decided to try my luck at building one, and I'm I have kind of you know split emotions about the ship. I'm not disappointed in it, but I'm not completely happy with it. But anyway, I'll explain why as the video goes forward. Okay, so first, the idea for this ship was when I started building it. Okay, what I had in mind was, okay, I'm gonna build a ship that respects all the criteria so I can submit it to be added to the exploration mode. If you guys are not familiar with that, it means that players are allowed to submit their ship to the developers to add those ships to the game so that people can find them while exploring. And when they find them, it's pretty much an abandoned ship. Okay, there's no crew, there's nothing in it. You just find the ship, and you're free to just take the ship and bring it back home if you want. So yeah, I had never submitted a ship before, and when I started working on this one, I decided, okay, this is gonna be my first ship that respects all the criterias to be added to the game. And those criterias, well, the main thing is, oh, okay, hang on, I need to sit in it. Okay, so you cannot sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, you cannot exceed 500k triangles here. And as you can see, I had to stop myself because I was going to exceed 500k triangles. So and this was, building a carrier for this was a somewhat of a bad move on my part, because carriers tend to be very large, very big, because they need to have enough room in them to actually dock smaller ships on them or in them. So they need to be very, very large. But with the limits that we have with the triangles, if I build a ship that is extremely large, then the ship is pretty much going to be empty. There's pretty much going to be nothing in it, because everything that you add will add more triangles, as you know. This is why I'm not 100% happy with my ship. It's because it's a carrier. Obviously it's going to be big, so when you walk inside of it, it feels pretty empty. But I think I've managed to add details in certain areas that actually give it a little bit of character still. So I'm not 100% disappointed in it either. It's like I said, I have kind of split emotions about the ship. Now, another thing you should know about this ship is that it's the first ship that I built for a faction that I'm working on. The faction is going to be a military faction. They never go anywhere on their own. It's always a fleet of ships going places together, invading other factions, converting them to their own rule. And these are just a few details about the faction that I'm working on. But this ship is going to be their carrier and refueler ship. They might have other carriers that they use, but this one, it's a refueler first and a carrier second. But like I said, as I walk through the ship, you're gonna see that it feels pretty empty. Now, if you download the ship, nothing is keeping you from adding stuff in here, adding interior wall blocks, or adding LCD screens everywhere, just to give it a less empty feel. But I had to stop myself. I couldn't add any more stuff because I was going to exceed the 500k polygons or triangles. So we're gonna go outside. Now, as you can see, I've built doors so that they kind of act as an airlock everywhere. So there's always going to be 2 doors, because I don't know when, but the devs are going to add oxygen soon. So, well, I say soon. I don't know when they're going to add it, but eventually they're going to add oxygen. And right now we are already outside. This is just a kind of a ramp that follows the side of the ship here. So we're on the landing platform on the top of the ship right now. So we were just right there in the cockpit. Yeah, that's another thing. I just passed the limit for gravity. I only have 1 gravity generator in there, I mean, and there's gravity inside the ship. Everywhere that you can walk inside the ship, there will be gravity. But when you reach the end here, or maybe halfway to the platform, you no longer have gravity. And there might be... Oh, okay, so back here it's irrelevant. I closed everything up, and there's a wall like right here inside the ship, so you can't go any further in here. But there is a platform here where all the, well, not all, but some of the large cargo containers are, but here there's gravity, no problem. Okay, another thing I want to say right now before I go on, I've published this ship, I think, 2 days ago, and silly me, I forgot to put antennas on it, and it was already published to the workshop without antennas at all. So and you know, to my big surprise, I wasn't expecting people to download this ship. It's not my prettiest ship, obviously, but some people downloaded it. If we look here, there's already 4 subscribers. Well, one of them is me, so I guess 3 subscribers. And this is more than some other ships that I made that I thought were actually better looking than this. But anyways, to the 3 subscribers, I want to say this ship now has antennas. It has one here, another one on the other side, exactly the same place, because the ship is symmetrical on both sides. And I've also added a laser antenna, because this ship is going to be part of a fleet. So if it wants to transmit or communicate with another ship in the fleet without anybody else around knowing what is being said, then this antenna here is going to make that possible. Okay, so like I said, this ship is going to be a refueler first and a carrier second. And as you can see, there's a lot of connector blocks down here. There's a lot inside here, because this is also a place where you can come in and land the ship on. You can land it over there and over here, and you know, if your ship is small enough, you could also land one right here, though it would not be very safe. And whenever one of your ships in the fleet needs to be refueled, you would be coming here and connecting to this, filling up his reactors with uranium, and then going back out. When I realized that the limit of 500k triangles was going to cause a problem, and that I could obviously not create a, you know, pure carrier, or an actual carrier, because it would make it too big. When I got to this point here, after building the platform and the inside down there that we were just in a moment ago, when I got to this point here, I realized, okay, this ship cannot keep going, you know, for too long, I'm gonna have to make this thing smaller than I wanted to at first. So the back part of the ship is not as wide, and definitely not as long as I wanted it to be at first. So, you know, for just the carrier itself, it felt small and it felt weird. So I decided, okay, you know what, it's not just going to be a carrier, it's going to be a refueler. It's the ship in the fleet that other ships come to refuel and or refill their ammo when they're low on ammo. So it, like this, I think it makes sense. It feels less weird that a carrier would be so small. Soon I will start working on a small ship. Small ships that will be connected to this probably like permanently until a large ship in the fleet needs to be refueled, because obviously a large ship cannot come in here and connect to these connectors, and a large ship cannot even come and connect to these, okay, without hitting the sides of the ship or whatever. So I had to come up with some different ways to refuel a large ship in the fleet. So I'm gonna have small ships that are gonna be really small, and it's gonna be really easy for them to come in here and come out, you know, without having to worry too much about hitting the sides or whatever. And they're gonna do the refueling of the larger ships. So they're gonna connect here, fill up their cargo container, and then they're gonna fly out, connect to the other large ship, and dump all of the fuel into the large ship, and then they're gonna come back and rinse and repeat until the large ship is full or has enough fuel to keep going. So I'm actually gonna start working on these little ships today. Then I'm gonna release a second blueprint for this thing that's gonna have ships attached to these things here, and it's gonna be part of the blueprint, but I'm gonna leave this blueprint as is without any ships attached, because this is my submission for exploration mode. The other one will not be submitted to exploration mode, because obviously having smaller ships attached here will increase the amount of triangles and will make it exceed the 500k limit. And then I might work on another model of small ships that are going to be docked here on top, and those are going to be there to help defend the carrier. But as you already know, because I've said it many times already, this ship will never travel space alone. It will always be part of a large fleet. So these little ships that are going to be docked here, whenever this fleet engages another fleet or invades another faction, the ships that are docked here are just going to add to the amount of ships that are already in the fleet. So no, they're not going to be very powerful ships. They're going to be small and they're going to be fast, but when, you know, an entire fleet engages another fleet, these ships are just going to add to the amount of DPS that the fleet already has. So that's going to be nice. Now obviously most people would not leave reactors exposed like this. I mean, it does look like a very bad idea to do this, right? I just thought it looked cool. It gave the ship a little bit more character. It makes it look like it's not just an empty flat surface here on the side. Like I said, I tried to add as much detail as I could to the ship to make it, you know, to give it some character, because the amount of triangles, or the limit of triangles, was definitely playing against me here, considering it was supposed to be a large ship. I don't like empty flat surfaces. I like to add detail to my ships. So this helps give detail to the ship. And obviously, like I said, this ship will never travel space alone. It will always be part of a fleet. and the fleet is going to be surrounding the ship pretty much all the time. So this ship is going to be pretty much the safest ship in the fleet because it's going to be surrounded by all of the other military ships and combat ships. So yes, this does represent a huge vulnerability for the ship, but considering it's going to be surrounded by, I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 ships at all times, it's not that vulnerable. So anyways, oh yeah, the ship does have 4 turrets. That was another one of the criterias for the ship to be eligible to be submitted for exploration mode. It could not have 20 turrets on the ship. It could only have a few, and so this is why the ship only has 4. Now if you want to add more, turrets down here, that's up to you. You can add, 3 right there and another 4 right down here if you want. So that is up to you. But in order for this ship to be eligible for submission, it had to have a low amount of turrets, so that's why it only has 4. It does have fuel in the reactors. I think I put 50 in total. I just put them in one of the cargo containers, and then the reactors just sucked it all up into them, so they don't all have the same amount. I think some of them have 13, some of them have like 9, but we'll check that right now. Okay, so this one has 13, and these two have 11 each, so it doesn't really matter. Now obviously this ship is a refueler, so if the ship was going to go out in space with the fleet, then it would probably have over 5,000 uranium stored in its containers, and it would probably have over 5,000 ammo boxes and missile containers, so that it can actually refuel and refill other ships in the fleet. But because this one is to be submitted to exploration mode, I could not put that many in it. But I might actually end up putting some ammo and missiles in the containers for the players to find, because right now it does feel a bit empty, and though it's an abandoned ship, when you find it, I think it would make sense for the ship to have at least a little bit of ammo in the containers, and no ores, simply because this is not a mining refinery, it's not a mining transport, it's not. The ship's role in the fleet is to carry extra ammo for all of the other ships and extra fuel for all of the other ships. That is its only role, so it's not going to have any materials or building materials in its containers. So yeah, I might add some stuff in the containers for players to find. Otherwise, what's the point of exploring to find an empty ship, right? So yeah, I'm gonna do that right now. I'm just gonna edit the part out. Put these in one of the cargo containers, and that's it. And all of the cargo containers have been connected using conveyors like these. They're all connected, and it's, I've made it really simple. There are 4 cargo containers down here. Obviously they're all connected by one conveyor block like this, and then these are connected to the reactors here, and the reactors are all connected, hang on here a sec. The reactors are all connected going up like this on both sides. So this is a conveyor that the reactor right underneath is connected to. I left those exposed because this helps any other player know exactly where the conveyors lead and where they start from, So if you guys want to add stuff here, it's a lot easier for you. That way you don't have to dig through the floor to find where the conveyors are. But I ended up putting only 4 large cargo containers here. I was going to add another 2 right here, but I think it wouldn't even fit. And even if it does, it would just, you know, the place would feel like crowded, and there would be no room to breathe in here. So that's why I put only 4. So the front of the ship is this way, but this will only lead to the inside of the docking area. So like I told you, I put airlocks everywhere like this, and then these 2 doors, they lead to the exact same place, only, you know, one leads on one side, the other one leads on the other side. So we're inside where like this is the landing platform on top, and you know where we were. I'm just showing you how to get here. Depending on where you are inside the ship, you can come in from here. Now normally if there was oxygen in the ship, you'd have to close this one first, then open this one, and then close it again. So now we're gonna go on the upper floors. All this is here, it's just stairs going up and up and up and up and up until you reach the upper floor, and there's going to be a passenger area up there. So we're going to close this. We're going to close this. And both stairs here, they lead to the same place. Now once again, yeah, I know it does feel really empty in here, so it's going to be up to you. If you download the blueprint, it's going to be up to you to fill it up with furniture or interior walls or whatever you want. I was limited with the amount of triangles I could use. I'm sorry about that. So okay, we just came from down here, just so you guys can keep following me here. So once again, 2 stairs, one on each side. Now if you want to go to the passenger area, that's going to be here. Now I think, okay, no, there's an airlock down where we entered the staircase, so this does not need an airlock. So we're in the passenger area. As you can see, we have a pretty good view outside of what's going on. You can see the antenna right there. But once again, in here it does feel really empty, and once again, that is because of the limits that I had to respect. If it wasn't for the limits, I would have added stuff in here just to, you know, add some detail to the room and make it feel more welcoming. But right now it really does feel empty. So yeah, same on both sides, and you can fit quite a few passengers in here. You can see down, well, almost. So this would be like the bottom floor where we come from. So if you don't want to use the stairs, you can just use your jetpack to come here. And so these are the stairs that we use to come up. There's nothing here really. So there's more stairs, one on this side and one on the other side over there, to go all the way up to the floor where the command room is. And here we are once again. Well, I think you guys have seen this place already. Yes, it does feel really empty. I've already explained the reason. We're just going to close this door because I will republish this blueprint now that I've added some ammo in the cargo containers. I will republish the blueprint with the update, and I'd like to publish the blueprint with all doors closed. So this is the command room. Now, all of the little ships that I'm gonna build to be on inside there, connected to the connector blocks, the little refuelers, if you want to call them like that. They're all gonna have remote control blocks in them, so that people could, let's say we have an entire crew of people up here, and their job is to help refuel the other ships that come close. Well, they can all remote control a small ship from up here. So there's a lot of control stations in here, and all of these control stations, you can use them to manually control the turrets, or you can use them to remote control the little ships that are going to be refueling other ships. But if you want, those little ships are not just going to have remote control blocks, they're also going to have a cockpit, so you're going to be able to actually go in them and fly them from the cockpit. And this is the flight seat that you can use to fly in either first person or third person. So this is what the ship would look like in third person. It's not ugly, but it's definitely not my prettiest ship. Definitely not. I like this view though. It makes it look like a huge shark. Like this kind of looks like the mouth of a shark, you know, without the teeth. I really like that view. This is my favorite view of the ship. The rest is just normal. But if you're watching this video, mention it in the comments. Is this a ship that you would like to find while exploring space? Is this a ship that you'd be like, oh my god, I'm glad I found this? Or would be like, I don't want that thing, and then you just, you know, shoot all of your ammo at it and destroy as much of it as you can? I'm curious, is this a ship that would make you happy if you found it while exploring space? It does fly really well. Like, look at the acceleration on the right. It's not bad for a large ship. Now this ship, unlike most of my other ship, it doesn't have a gravity drive in it. I usually add a gravity drive to all of my ships, but not this one. Once again, because it was to be submitted to be added to the game. Oh, I have a little mongoose, 800 meters over there. I forgot it was there. I'm actually gonna fly close to it, and I'm gonna fly the mongoose inside the ship. Oh, and the color, by the way, is gonna be the color of the faction that I was talking about earlier. So all of the ships that are gonna be part of that faction are they're gonna look a lot like this. I mean, the color pattern or the paint job, it's pretty much going to be like this. It's going to be a mix of dark green and light green. I think before I do that, just in case I crash something, because I do want to republish this, I'm just going to save, just to make sure I don't mess anything up. Obviously the mongoose does not have connector blocks on it, or it might, but no. Okay, so if you want to access its inventory, it's through the 2 cargo containers that you can see underneath. So the mongoose would not be a good ship to be part of that fleet. Every ship that I'm going to be building for this faction will have connector blocks sticking out of them. dock it down here. Whoops, not okay. And then you can turn off the power and just, you know, travel around with your small ships in here. But a ship such as the Mongoose would be, whoa, hang on. If you're going to dock a ship such as the Mongoose, which is a lot more of a fighter than anything else, it would be docking itself, whoa, up here. This would be where this ship belongs. But once again, I'm going to build a ship specifically for that faction that is going to be specifically designed to dock here on top of that ship. So that would be its spot. Obviously, you turn off the power so that the reactor, not the reactors, but the thrusters from the Mongoose are not trying to stop the ship every time that you press forward to move. And if you want a better size comparison, I guess I could spawn this. Because you're all familiar with this ship, right? This ship was built by the developers when they first released the game. So you're familiar with how small it is. It's nothing new to you guys. You can see the Mongoose is quite a bit bigger than the blue one. Yet it could fit in the refueling area, I guess, and it most definitely fits on the landing platform up here. So it can be used as a carrier, but it will not be the primary carriers in the fleet. I might actually end up building other carriers for that faction, and sadly I won't be able to submit them to exploration mode because they're probably going to be too big. So there you go. I think I'm going to end the video here, and now I'm just going to fly these ships away, and I'm gonna republish this blueprint now that I've added extra ammo in the cargo container down there. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section of the video or in the workshop page itself. I will answer them as soon as I see them. And if you're a developer watching this, just, you know, because you are considering the submission itself, then you know, that would make me very happy if you added it to the game. You know, I did put quite a bit of work into this, so yeah, I hope you guys like it, and thank you for watching, and see you guys later. Bye bye.